open up the event for us with the opening prayer, and then we get things started for this momentous book launch.
Good evening. I'll just ask you all to just bow your head. You don't need to stand up, just bow your head. Our God and King, we thank you for today. We thank you for making it possible for us to meet here. We commit this meeting into your hands. We pray that whatever is done here today will be brought to a successful conclusion, and that at the end of it all, your name will be glorified. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Nobody ever complained because a prayer was too short. Thank you very much, Mr. Tufo, for the prayer. There's so many dignitaries here. I will step out and go and get the list and name all of you. But I would like to start, first of all, by introducing our chairman for this event, who is Ghana's former ambassador to Serbia and Montenegro, and a leading member of the New Patriotic Party, Ghana's Liberal Democratic Party, with roots in the colonial independence movement. Trained as a physician, our chairman has practiced medicine in Ghana, initially as a member of the Ghana Armed Forces, in Nigeria, and in the United States. In the 70s, he was detained for his involvement in a coup plot to overthrow General Ike Achampong's Supreme Military Council government. In the 80s, our chairman served as management chair and board member of Accra Hearts of Oak, Ghana's premier football club. When Ghana returned to democratic constitutional governance in the early 90s, our chairman became one of the founding members of the MPP and a civil rights activist. He subsequently served as chair of the Ghana Football Association before his diplomatic appointment to Serbia and Montenegro in 2005. Let's welcome our chairman to the stage, Captain Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, retired. And just like a military officer, he got there right on time. Boom. Thank you so much, Captain Dr. Chair. Your response, please. We want to know whether you formally agree to be part of this event. You want to do it here?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you, MC Kafwide, for this kind introduction. It is indeed a great pleasure to be here. And I would like also to welcome each and every one of you to this August launch of the Black Star. Autobiography of C.K. Gyamfi, written by himself and Fifi Anaman. This is also a nostalgic moment for me, as I had the opportunity to work with Charles Gyamfi while I served as the president of the Ghana Football Association some 17 years ago, I think. C.K. Gyamfi is not just a legend, but a giant of African football, and a man described as the father of Ghana football tradition. C.K. Gyamfi was described by the great Ohinijan as the greatest initials in our football history. C.K. Gyamfi, I remember, told me something himself, and that was confirmed by E.C. Bryant, who was captain of the then Black Stars. When the then Gold Coast played Nigeria at the newly opened Accra Sports Stadium years ago, and Ghana was leading Nigeria by 5 goals. And the Nigerian captain quietly approached E.C. Bryant and said, AC, tell C.K. Gyamfi to go slow, so that at least you are the central defender. With you, we are sure you can easily allow us one goal. And the true Ghanaians are there, they refused and rather added 2 more goals to make 7 goals for Ghana. Now, CK did another important thing when he was then in his I think late 60s. In 1984, there was a revolution in Accra House of Folk. A revolution led by me. It was quite a simple thing. We realized we were losing matches, and a club like Accra House of Folk, with about 7 of the players playing in the Black Stars, shouldn't be losing matches to certain clubs, particularly Asante Kotoko. So the old men those days, headed by one and only Mr. H.P. Nyamite, Tommy Thompson, Kwesi Asante Sechi, Dr. Queno, Lawyer Osekre, Alhaji Tijani, they called me quietly. And at a meeting, without my knowledge, I was made the chairman of the club. And I told them that in my profession of medicine, the most important thing is diagnosis. If you get the diagnosis right, you are sure to cure your patient. And I promised them that if I get the diagnosis right, House of Folk will be okay. And I did, and House of Folk came back on his feet. Now, amongst those who helped me to succeed in this particular exercise was C.K. Gyamfi. I think it's important in a program like this, we mention also names of those who have helped in building Ghana football today. As I've been telling the young ones, it is unfortunate that our archives cannot give us the films that will let them know that we have had better footballers than them. Let me make mention of few names, just as a memory, particularly those who have passed on. A.C. Bryant, one-time captain of the Black Star. And he was the first Ghanaian ever to wear boots in playing football. Tim Daba, one-time captain of the Black Stars. Yi-O Oblite, a central defender. Dodu Ankra, C.D. Arthur, Adu Daakon, James Ajay, Mohamed Salisu, Baba Yara, Dogo Moro, Asebi Boache, Kwame Apia, Ananti Ankra, Jackson Weir, Kojo Infum, Edward Aqua, George Aikins, Ofe Dodu, Amadou Akuse, Osei Kofi, Imoru Atata, Kwame Adakwa, Agrifin, Ajirifin, and Ado Odamite. These are the names I was able to put together on the top of my head. These were great men. And if we ever became popular in football on this continent, if not the world, they set the foundation for us. Please, I respectfully ask you to just bow down your heads for a few seconds for them, to remember them. May their souls rest in peace, those of them who have passed on. There's a giant here. I have left his name. I'm getting old, so some of these names escape me. One of our best goalkeepers. Now, I would like everyone here, please give him a big clap. I think at this stage, I would like to, these things are so little. I can't see the program. I think the MC will introduce the co-author, please.
Please, let's clap for our chairman, who not only gave us his acceptance speech, but also took us down memory lane and acknowledged those who had contributed to make Ghana football what it is today. And it's always good to remember those who have gone ahead and built the foundation on which the house is constructed. So thank you once again, our chairman, Captain Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo. I want to introduce the members of the high table. And from the extreme left of the chairman, which is your right, we have the managing director, the CEO of DigiBooks Ghana Limited, the publishers of this wonderful autobiography, Mr. Fred Labi. And seated next to Mr. Fred Labi is a consultant in communications, media, and culture. He's a former chairman of the National Media Commission, and he's now a traditional leader as well, a Pejahini of Achim Ati New Tafo. Let's welcome Nana John Apenting. On the right of our chairman is the Member of Parliament for Esunafu North in the Ahafo region and Deputy Minister for Youth and Sports. He's sitting here as a representative of the President of the Republic. Let's welcome Mr. Evans Opoku Bobie. And then to his right is Mr. Edwin Gyamfi, one of the sons of Mr. C.K. Gyamfi. You're all welcome. Later on, I'll acknowledge as many of you as I can for the evening. At this point, I just want to give you some information about our author, co-author, because Mr. C.K. Gyamfi wrote this book with a Ghanaian journalist whose writing has featured in the BBC, ESPN, FIFA, The Telegraph, Supersport, Goal.com, Business Insider, and Pulse Ghana, amongst others. In 2015, he received an award for Best Column from the International Sports Press Association after having been highly commended in sports reporting at the 2015 CNN Multi-Choice African Journalist Awards. As a broadcaster, he has presented well-known productions in like Sports Extra, the 2018 FIFA World Cup, and Football 360. Works as a consultant on writing and Ghanaian football for many organizations, also serving as the founding project lead of the Ghana Football Awards. Born in Kumasi, living in Accra. He's an alumnus of Achimoto School and the University of Ghana. Our author is Mr. Fifi Anaman. Let's put our hands together, give him a big round of applause for this magisterial work. He would have loved to be here, but he became unwell quite suddenly, and he's getting better, but he couldn't make it for the event. And so for his remarks, we have Mr. Edwin Gyamfi on the high table, who will make a couple of remarks on behalf of the
HB Nyamite.
Good evening to everyone. Well, I'm supposed to be standing in the shoes of Fifi Anaman, but I'm not a writer. I'm something else. But having said that, I and the family have been working with Fifi over quite a period of time. I mean, basically, Fifi started working with my dad for so many years, trying to extract every detail in terms of his life in football, and to ensure that the autobiography is complete and also is as exciting as it should be. Of course, my dad started writing this many years ago, but there was a need for him to collaborate with someone to put the finishing touches to it. And basically, Fifi was just like a marriage in heaven, as far as my dad and Fifi were concerned. We spent so many hours, researching, interviewing the old man, as we called him, and there was a lot of input from family members as well. Our personal, relationship with Fifi has been so great. The first time that, Duke and I actually met with Fifi, we were quite surprised it was like, I thought it was a secondary school boy who walked into Papaya to talk to me.
It was quite a simple thing.
All of that, this is amazing. But as we engaged with him, we realized that he had a talent, an absolute amazing talent. The end product of what he's actually put together, I'm not going to divulge it, but basically I think you're here to buy the book, so at some point it is worth having one. This is a book that Fifi has researched so much, kind of like married and kind of entwined the history of Africa with my dad's life, which was actually inseparable, because at every point in Ghana's history, any turning point in Ghana's history of football, the man was there. And I think Fifi's done an excellent job. He's captured it all and made it very thrilling and enthralling for us all to read. So he's not here at the moment, but I suppose, we acknowledge the excellent work that he's done. I suppose this book is going to stand the test of time. So, kudos to him, and I would like everyone to give him a round of applause. And I'll just pass it on to Kapui to continue. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Edwin. Well, I have something that you don't have. I have the knowledge of having read the book. And I feel like I could do a quiz on little things on Ghanaian football. And for example, well, I'll keep it quiet for now. But if you really want to cry, buy the book and read a section about Baba Yara. I guarantee you'll cry. The book was really touching. And there were little details about not just Ghanaian football, but the development of the game on the continent, and the stars who came to Ghana back then. It was just, my children were listening to snippets and thinking, wow, Ballon d'Or winner in Ghana at that time, wow. They didn't play football without wearing shoes. They were barefoot, playing international games, friendlies. Everything is in the book, and you will not regret it at all. At this point, it's time for the book review, and let's welcome Nana John Apenting.
It is unfortunate.
I'm debating how I'm going to hold these two things like this for the next few minutes. Mr. Chairman, before I start my review, let me say how much I've admired your powers of recall, remembering all these names from the top of your head. These were names familiar to us in our childhood, basically when there was no TV. So these names came to us from newspapers, and so as we celebrate C.K. Gyamfi and his generation of footballers, I think I also have a small duty to introduce two of my senior colleague journalists who really ensured that the football story was told. So, with your permission, may I introduce Mr. Joe Agri and Mr. Kenbe Diakon. Both of them really brought the football story to our homes. In a way, this is a celebration more than a book launch. We are here to celebrate the passion of the nation. And we are lucky that we can get it all in this one volume. And I can tell you something about this book. It's a very dangerous book, highly toxic. And I blame the writers, the publishers, everybody who's got something to do with this book. You know why? The day I got this book, I had tight deadlines for another project. But I thought, let me read a page or two. Then before I knew, 10 pages. 15 pages. Long story short, I missed my deadline. It is that kind of book. You can't put it down. I think there's a long English word, unputdownable. That is what this book is. And I can go so far as to say that as biographies go, and I do read a lot of biographies, this is one of the best I have read for a very long time. First of all, the subject of this book, the author himself, is a fascinating character. He was both complex and simple, and this is, if this book was fiction, the author would win a prize for creating this character. Mr. Gyamfi has been described by my friend Ken Bidiako, whom I quoted rather copiously in a newspaper article on this subject last week. Ken called him a stubborn character. And it shows throughout this book. In fact, he came to Accra. He was born at Okrasi. It used to be a village. If Okrasi Hine is here, let him not be offended. It used to be a village, it's now a town. And CK did something at home, knew he would be beaten by his father. So he escaped to Accra to his mother before his father returned home. But I say that it was the gods of football that were calling him to the nation's capital. And he was a driven man. This story, again, told to me by Ken. There are people here who know the story better. They should be here, but they declined. That's why I'm here. So, as told in the book and explained by Ken, one day, when he came to Accra, he couldn't find a school. He was trying. Then one day he went to a school called Royal School, somewhere in Kolegon, and they were playing a football match between juniors and seniors. He watched their tactics and walked up to the sports master and said, "I can play better than your players." And he said, "What? Where are you from?" He said, "Okrasi." "Where is Okrasi?" He said, "Oh, it's somewhere on the Koforidua Road. He said, this is a bush boy. You know, in Ghana, what they call, how do they call bush people? Thank you. Reverend knows that word. And so he used it and said, you bush boy, what do you know? But he worried him. I said, I can score. So he allowed Gyamfi. He came in and scored 2 glorious goals. And immediately was enrolled in the school. So it's clear that this was a man with a talent, but in coming, I am trying to think, how do you describe this man's prodigious talent to this generation? Because they didn't see him. So I'm saying that to understand and imagine him, you have to combine the scoring instincts of Asamoah and Tony Yeboah, the football sense of Stephen Appiah, the guile of Abedi Pele, the tenacity of Michael Essien, and the combativeness of Suli Buntare. And add to that the stubborn gentility of Kwesi Appiah, all rolled into one. That was our CK. So, I'm not going to, we all want to read this book. You must want to read it. And I'm not going to stand between you and the reading pleasure. So I'm not going to tell you the whole history. But I must say that this man played for Kotoko and Hearts. It's a very unusual thing to happen, to play for those teams. And, I've been told on authority that CK was a storyteller. And you can get it in the book. So anecdotes, one to the other, and one of the most interesting is why he left Kotoko. In those days, and you see something about this book for me, is that it's not just about CK or even about football. It's about our history, the social history of Ghana. So for example, Easter in Kwawu, now you have paragliding and all that. One of the essential things that made Kwawu Easter what it was that there will always be a big football match, usually off-season, between Hearts and Kotoko. So this time, there was some disagreement in the Kotoko camp. So they said they wouldn't honor the match. CK felt as a man of honor, they had to present a team. So he went with a team, and it wasn't Kotoko. It was one chain, you call, you go and play. And an interesting thing about football in those days was that you could play for about 5 teams. And so one team will call you today, you go and play. Tomorrow you go to Sunyani, you play. And so he took the team to, the people were expecting Kotoko. And when they came, apart from himself, CK, Gyamfi, and a couple of people, there were no Kotoko players. So there was a near riot. And so they felt he had to be disciplined and all that. He immediately left Kotoko and with some friends formed the team known as Great Ashantis. After Great Ashantis, about 3 years later, he came to Accra and joined Accra House of Folk, which is a slightly better team than his previous team. Phobia, eh? And that was when he began to prosper. When you join Hearts, that's what happens to you. So anyway, he joins Hearts and stuff happens. This is the time, and the important thing is this was the time of our independence. Our national pride was high. We were trying to achieve things. And football came in handy as a vehicle by which we expressed our greatness. So Gyamfi, for example, goes to Düsseldorf for training. But he becomes a professional player, in fact, the first African professional player in West Germany as it was at the time. They loved him so much, but at the time he had to be recalled home. If it was today's players, and I mean no disrespect, they know money more than we did in our time, they would not have come back, but he did. He came back because he had been sponsored by GAFA, the Ghana Association, Amateur Football Association, or like today's GFA. But he did come back and became a player coach for a while and then became a coach, and we know the rest of his history. So Gyamfi has been the only coach, black, white, brown, or yellow, or anything, that's taken Ghana to 3 gold medals in Africa's premier football tournament. His record stands unbeaten. The last time in '82, when against every logic, he led a team and brought the cup. It is the man we are celebrating today. In this book, there's so much. It tells you a lot about the interconnections between our politics, society, economy, everything. And we must celebrate this young writer, journalist who co-authored this, because you can hear Gyamfi's voice, but you also know that he helped to bring the story alive. So, for example, in one episode, the Black Stars lost a few matches on the trot, and Nkrumah called Gyamfi an Ohinijan, a man also celebrated in the book a lot. I'll come to that in a second. An Ohinijan, and they were called by President Nkrumah, come to Flagstaff House. No agenda, no message, just come. They went and they were made to wait outside for about 2 hours. Later he called them in. He didn't offer them a chair. He was scribbling and they were standing. After about 30 minutes he said, you see, he showed them a graph. The president had been plotting the graph of their matches and said, you've been losing matches. I'm unhappy with you. I mean, if the president did this today, I think social media will say, he was a very bad man, what are you trying to do? But at that time, as president, as coach, as director of COS, as captain and everything, they knew that the passion of the nation was football. And that connection was there. And so he said, what do you need to do? We'll provide it. And as Gyamfi tells the story, they won the next match because who was it against? Who do you think it was against? Nigeria, of course. And we had to win. So I believe that Gyamfi's autobiography is something that is more than a book about his life. That's the point I'm trying to make. I have read it twice, and every time, in the second time, I discovered even things I missed the first time around. And I believe that his generosity of spirit, he does not hog the headlines. Something that you would notice when you read this book is that if Salisu scores 2 goals, he would describe both goals, how he scored them. When he scored, he would only say, I scored. He doesn't even claim the credit like he gives to others. And of course, he was, many of the players, our chairman has generously remembered and mentioned, played with him, and he gives them credit. This is a man who did not think that, he was writing his book, but he thought it was a book for his generation. So let me finish by saying, when I was young, and that's a very long time ago, every boy wanted to be C.K. Gyamfi. I mean, you could be Dogomoro, you could be Baba Yara, but the prized one, the one you wanted to be was C.K. So one day we were playing football, and a bigger boy wanted to be C.K. Gyamfi, but I also wanted to be C.K. Gyamfi. But I owned the football, so I was allowed to be C.K. Gyamfi. But he stepped viciously on my little left toe and almost lost my nail. That is a reminder of the measure of the man. Enjoy the book.
Nana tells stories so well. What I learned from that last story is that if you own the ball, you can decide who gets to play what. Just want to acknowledge the presence of Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete, who has joined us. Also a footballer back in the days. Yes. We have with us Osaberima Asiedu Oko Ababil III, Benkomhini of Akuapem, chief of Latte. And I also want to recognize Nana Obing Mante II from Latte, Nanama Enchiwa Apejaja Sehima. We also have Nana Abwaji Labi Kankanka II, who's the Krontihini of Suhum. And we also have Nana Asari Gyamfi also here with us. Thank you so much. And then we have also a traditional leader, Nana Gyamfi Mfuma Maxwell Okrasi Juantuahini. Yes, Okrasi was mentioned in Nana and Jana Petting's review, and we are glad to have a representation of them. We also have Berima Iwa Sapong Asiedu Labi, the Municipal Chief Executive of Ekwapim North. He prayed to start us, and he's now going to give us the keynote address. Let's welcome sports broadcaster Carl Tufo.
Kwame Agrifin.
Thank you very much. I suppose being a Ghanaian, I'd also have to acknowledge one or two people. You've done the high table. My era was different from the chairman's era. I've had to speak with the chairman about certain individuals, and he mentioned it. John Now was there. He was not from my era, but Hesio Dampton was from my era. Samson Lamte was from my era, and then there are other major. Oh, George Alassane. I didn't see him with the cap. He was from my era, at least in 1982. So these were the footballers. I worked under the likes of Joe Agre, Kembediako, the ambassador himself, D.K. Osei. Kwabena Japan was a colleague of mine. The former minister for health was a classmate of mine from Christ the King all the way to Achimota to Upper Six, Alex Sigbefia. My uncle, Kwesi Ahoy, is also just a seat behind him. There are loads of you here. I wish to acknowledge all of you. Thank you very much. The chairman insisted I give a keynote address. I'm not too good at these things. But I'll tell you one thing. The name Gyamfi connotes excellence in this country. And so I don't want to call him C.K. Gyamfi, because the people of Ekwapim crowned him as a chief. And he then became known as Nana Gyamfi Kumi the First. Now, for somebody who was, quotation marks, as we were told, oh, Bushman, you are from Okrase, Ekwapim. For a person like that to move all the way to become, in my opinion, and I'll be controversial here, in my opinion, the second greatest sporting personality this country has produced. I'm sure you ask who's the greatest. I think we all agree that Azuma Nelson was a phenomenon. We can't run away from that. But Nana Gyamfi Kumi the First was the second greatest, because not only was he a great footballer, he was also a phenomenal coach. Then I'm sorry to say this country is not worth dying for. But we won't allow that to happen. And before I continue, can I humbly beg of you, can the following people please rise to their feet? It's very important for me because they played a key part in this book. Eric Gyamfi. Nana is not here, unfortunately. George Gyamfi. Francis Gyamfi. Edwin Gyamfi. Duke Gyamfi. And Patrick Gyamfi. Folks, I'm only asking them to stand because let the record book reflect that these were the people who put pressure on their father to start writing an autobiography. And so when the man passed in 2015 and he had gone nowhere, it was these same boys who got Fifi Anaman. Let's finish the story. It's sad when we can't get the autobiography of many of our sports persons. For somebody like myself, Alex Sigbefia, Kwabene Japan, Kembediaku, Joe Agri, all sports writers, we need to know, sport broadcasters as well, we need to know those who came before us to put their exploits in writing for all of us to benefit from it. At least the book has been published. If all of us go, the next generation will still have it there to read about. So for me, to get the autobiography of Nana Gyamfi Kumi I was actually awesome. Now let me just read something little that I got, and I'm sure it will bring a smile to the veteran journalists here who work with the Daily Graphic, and particularly the chairman who helped me out. You know, the chairman is always talking about Ghana, Nigeria 7-0. Apparently, that tournament was called the Jalco Cup. And Nana Gyamfi Kumi got 2 goals in that match. But it's the beauty of which the legendary Kofi Bedu, those who may not know him, the forefathers of Kembediako and Joe Agri, the forefather of Nana Jana painting. These were the words he used when he was describing one of the goals. And I quote, "Look at how it happened. Kobna Otu stopped the ball from the kickoff. A pass to Babayara on the right wing. Intepe was beaten. Intepe is a Nigerian. And Charles Gyamfi ran to take the position of Yara. The next moment, handkerchiefs were flying through the air. Pandemonium reigned. The Gold Coast were 1 goal up in the first 2 minutes." He doesn't end there. The goal kickoff, and off they went again. This time, it was on the opposite wing. Oscar Jesper got the pass from James Ajay, raced with it to the wing, centered, and as Gyamfi sprinted through again, the result was obvious. Such brilliant writing describes the personality we are talking about and we are launching the book on today. I had the privilege of speaking with Nana Gyamfi Kumi, not like the way lawyer Moses Fuamweni had a thorough interview with him. I'll tell you one thing. He gave me a bit of history. I didn't know. Most of us have heard about the real Republicans. Most of us here had not heard about it. Guess what? Apparently, the real Republicans, when it was formed, they took 2 players from each of the clubs in the first division, or at the time, with the Premier League of. It led to a major rivalry in this country, particularly with Asante Kotoko. And Gyamfi would tell me that he had to toe the middle line to make sure he didn't step on toes vis-a-vis government and then step on toes vis-a-vis clubs, because he would still need some of the players from the club for the Black Stars. Now, there's a saying in the Bible, or should I say the Ghanaians have a saying, "Onoji, ono, yours is yours." They sent 3 players to Germany to go and learn coaching. The chairman mentioned E.C. Bryant. The other one was James Ajay. The third one was the then Charles Kumi Gyamfi. Ideally, E.C. Bryant was the captain of Gold Coast 11. Was it Gold Coast 11 or Ghana 11? Gold Coast 11. So he would have been the senior person. But in doing my research, I found out that apparently when he came back, he said he couldn't do it. No disrespect to anybody. He had his own free will. Let the people have their will. For some reason. Number two, James J was passed. So it went to who? C.K. Gyamfi. And there you are, 3 African Nations Cup. Ken Bediako told me that he could be stubborn. I've been told by coaches, not only Ghanaian coaches, I'm talking about foreign coaches, people like Chris Hutton, that to be a successful coach, you need to be stubborn. You need to make sure, I want Mr. A to play. I understand why. CK was of that ilk. So guess what? The 1963 squad, once again, I was too small. I was 1 year old running around. When we failed to do well at the 1964 Olympic Games, you know what CK did? Okay. Out goes Agrifin. He dropped a whole bunch of people and then brought in the likes of Osei Kofi and company. And guess what? In 65, it was successful. The likes of Jonah will bear me out. If you go to 1982, Samson Lamte was voted the best defender in that tournament. George Al-Hassan was made the goal king. Kwame Nkrumah was in the squad. Who pruned them? Who kept them alive? Nana Gyamfi Kumi. With all due respect to what we have now, can the same be said of them? I want to answer that question. And for me, as a country, the mere fact that, and once again I had to do research on it, the mere fact that he was given one of the highest awards in this country speaks volumes. At the age of 40, not in 1982, not in 1985, but in 1969. In this country, the government gives various forms of medals of honors. And they are called the orders. And there are 4, I found out, are the major ones. Mr. Chairman, Order of the Star of Ghana, Order of the Volta, Medal for Gallantry, and Grand Medal. Nana Gyamfi Kumi had the Grand Medal. Subsequently, the only person within the football fraternity who has got one of these other medals, I think was Abedi Pele in 1996 or something like that there. So this should tell you something. And remember, I said this was in 1969. The man was only 40 years old. I can't, and I'll end
Kwame Adakwa
my
Agrifin
without making a comment on the recent exposure of bribery. We may not like it. This may not necessarily be the forum, but we've got to hold the bull by the horn. Unfortunately, some clubs have been found guilty. They have been demoted. I won't go into the nitty-gritties of it because I thought it was a bit, what's the word to say? That the punishment was a bit weak. I'm sure if Togbe, Dr. Captain Nyaho Tamaklo had been the chair of the disciplinary committee, some people would have been banned for life. But it's been done. But the one thing I do know, having spoken to Gyamfi himself, is this. He would have been shocked if he were alive today. Because he explained to me 1 or 2 people who approached him. Not here. You know, he coached in Kenya. He coached in, there was this other country, was it Sudan also? Thank you, Somalia. He won the league title, 2 successive league titles in Kenya with AFC Leopards. He won the double with them. And you think it was only here. It's not only here. Oh. There, they tried to influence him. To put it bluntly, he told them to go to hell. He was not going to pick anything. Incidentally, one of his sons actually, in fact, the only son who actually played for him. I know one of 2 of the brothers. I know how good they were as footballers. I know because I was in school with them. Even one of the brothers played hockey for the national hockey team, the Black Sticks. But Gyamfi would not put his son in the team. Some people will ask why. Because the man is principled. He is not going to. The Bible says, let your good not be evil spoken of. He brings his son in, hey, Ghana, hey, nepotism. But I can tell you, his son, sorry to use the language, was goddamn good and could have played. But C.K. said no. That's the man we are honoring today. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Many thanks, Mr. Carl Tufor, for that keynote, giving us insight. Yeah, I think he deserves another round of applause. And this book was so written in such a beautifully captivating style. And we want to thank Fifi Anaman, who's not here with us, but has his uncles who have come here to support him. Ambassador D.K. Osei is here. Mr. Chief Kufuor is here. And Mr. Papa Kofi Mensah. These are Fifi's uncles. Just give us a wave. Let us know you're here. Thank you. Thank you so much. And at the back of the hall is a man whose name I read the back pages of Daily Graphic, Ghanaian Times. Mr. Mohamed Polo. Please give us a wave. He doesn't want to come to the front, but he's right at the back. There he is. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Oh, yes. There he is, right there at the back. Mr. Mohamed Polo. Fantastic. The great and the good have all gathered here. We have Mr. Kwabena Japong, who's here with us. Mr. Kwabena Japong. There he is, right there. Mr. Tony Baffo, I saw him. Should be around. He's back there. Yes, indeed. And with Nana Jiman, looking all snazzy at the corner there. That's Nana Jiman over there. Thank you very much. All right, it's now time for some goodwill messages. I'll start with Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete. Let's welcome him with a big round of applause.
Thank you very much. When I heard Nana Jana Pentin speak, I said, Chairman, no more funny Toyota. Okay. All of us have been disciplined before by Dr. Nyota Maklos. When he's around, we are very mindful. I salute. Deputy Minister, I salute all of you on the platform. For me, it's always an honor to come and speak about somebody who was not just an icon for Ghana, but somebody that I refer to as a father to me.
Well, I have something that you don't have. Have a knowledge of having read the book. And I feel like
you stand in times like this, you don't sit there and wave. The popular people are even standing. Stand and let them see you. We don't know bad in you. Many people are meditation with emotions. We grew up with Nana C.K. Gyamfi's children. I remember one of his sons who died before him was C.K. Gyamfi Jr. Charles. And when he died, I was asked to come all the way from the UK to come and be the speaker at his burial. So those of you remember, I was the one who spoke at his burial. And I said he's a man who was not only a father, but was a friend. He's everything that you want him to be. He fits in every pair of shoes. The first time I understood a profane song Accra House of Old sang, it was he who taught me the song. Our roots are old. Be quiet and don't be seen. We are the famous House of Oaks. We never stay, die. Before then, we know our rules. Be quiet and don't be silly. We are the famous House of Oaks. We never say die. He was one person who, in spite of the fact that he encouraged us to play soccer, he also encouraged us to school. And to be honest with you, people don't know this, but one of the people who insisted that I pursue my excellence in academics to become a professional, even if I want to be a footballer, was C.K. Gyamfi. He will look at your results and encourage you. Oh, but more than what I didn't check. It was channel no your school. Cock benano torture footballer. He was everybody's father. And as a matter of fact, he didn't discriminate at all. Sometimes we go to him and for hours he would tell you stories. He would give you jokes. But at every given time, he helps you. Even when you miss your girlfriend and you go to him, he has a way of getting you to get your girlfriend back. Auntie Roxy, you remember that one? But let me say, I am happy with what we are seeing here today. I will encourage that this thing become our lifestyle, that we don't forget what good people have done. We should always make sure these things are put on record so that we and the generation after us will always know that people fought the battle. There were history. C.K. Gyamfi, of course, we call him Papa. We call him many names. You have so many names I won't call here because he's not here. But we call him many names. The ones before him and the one we call when he's not there. When I was about to leave for Hungary, he was the one who told me that the first foreign coach for Ghana was a Hungarian. And he gave me the name. And when I went to Hungary, I went to look for him. I took pictures and I sent it to him. And we had a party. I want to say, may the good Lord bless him. And that those of us that he has imparted in, we will never forget him. I pray that wherever he is today, he should know that his children were not only the Gyamfis. Even those of us who are Tetes and Roxans and Lattes and far away, we are all his children. I want to pray that his soul rests in perfect peace. And that I thank every man, every woman here who has made this legend a great thing. We who pride ourselves in knowing him would never take his name for granted. And I want to say congratulations to all those who make sure this book is there as a literature that even those who did not know C.K. Gyamfi can read. Please, once again, Ghanaians should not forget those who have labored for this great game that has put us on a world map. God bless you.
Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete, President Founder Worldwide Miracle Outreach. Thank you for your goodwill message. Two more brief messages. The first one from former Minister of Health, Mr. Alex Segbefia. Let's welcome him with a round of applause.
Mr. Chairman, I'll stand on all existing protocols. I'll try and make this as short as possible. The day is far gone. I'm convinced that football is a gene. And it passes from generation to generation, either in small doses or big doses. You would notice that when Carl Tufo, my mate, mentioned the names of his children, they were all boys. Football, they can play ball. Every single one of them. And I learned about C.K. Gyamfi not because I met the man, but because I played football with his children. And it is confirmed in the book. What do I mean? In one part of the book, trying to get a football, or what was a ball at the time, he attempted to climb the roof of a house. The owner became upset. He ran. As he ran, the owner realized he was too fast for him. He sent his son after him. The son was bigger and faster and caught up with C.K. Gyamfi in the hope that he would beat him up. The beating was the other way around. C.K. Gyamfi gave him the beating of his life. Immediately, I saw his son, Duke Gyamfi. He will never come for trouble, but if you get near him, you get the beating of your life. That was Duke on the football field. Strong, hard, tenacious. That was Duke. In another part of the book, you find that they were 3-1 down in a match. He needed to do something to get this game won. So he broke protocol and used flair. Dribbled his way through till he met the main central defender of the other team in cornerstones. The guy had no choice but to foul him. That meant that they had a penalty. It was quickly dispatched, 3-2. Using the same flair, he went again. This time when he was fouled, and Cornerstone realized that actually this was going to be a draw, pandemonium broke loose, and the match was called off. Flair, beauty of football, that was Edwin Gyamfi. If Edwin Gyamfi is playing football, it's like ballet on a football pitch. Finally, you hear about purpose, tenacity, focus, having a purpose for every move you make. And that was the one who played football to the highest level amongst his children, Patrick Gyamfi. In those days, Patrick's football was second to none. And I understand why people talk about C.K. Gyamfi so much as a footballer. But I also understand why they talk about him as a coach. Because Patrick is also a coach and is achieving great things in his life. Buy the book and read it. You will laugh, you will have fun, you will weep in certain sections. But most of all, you will know that Ghana actually is a great country. Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. Alexa Befia, thank you so much for those goodwill messages. That message, powerful. And now we have a former broadcaster, press secretary to President Kufuor, and former General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Mr. Kwabena Ajipong.
I also stand on the existing protocol, Deputy Minister, and have a few words. My encounter with CK was a very interesting one. Many years ago when we were kids, of course, we were with his son, one of his sons, at Infancy Film School, and he had a lovely left foot, and he used to play for our school team in Cape Coast. But as a kid, I used to stay on the Castle Road, and I was obsessed with football. So in the lead up to the 1982 Cup of Nations, anytime the Black Stars were training, I would go to the stadium and watch them train. And so when we were kids, I had an album, and in those days, you would make cartons of footballers, and we would use fufu as starch to create an album. And I'll carry the album to the stadium, and then I'll show the players. Because of that, Kuku Dazi, earlier times, Emmanuel Kwashin and all those, they became friends of mine. When I was living in Kumasi at the time, I was close to the stadium. When we moved to Accra, I was close. And so I went to one of the training sessions. Of course, Hesio Dumpton is here, Mr. No Way. We were training, and after the game, I walked up to CK as a small boy, and I was holding my album. I opened it. He looked at it, flipped it, and was shocked that, how did you do this? To have all these players in a book. I still have that book in my museum. But I asked him one question, that my father said there were two players he thought were the greatest ever. The two were either, he was never sure to tell me which one of them, either C.K. Gyamfi or James Ejay. So I walked up to him and I asked him, Coach, my father said that James Ejay was the best player. We always mentioned your name. So between the two of you, who do you think was the greatest? He just smiled and said, you know what? James was so silky. He never took it for himself and said, he thinks your father was right. James Ejay was the greatest player that's ever lived in this country. That was the man. Very selfless man, will never attach anything to himself. I mean, I love football. I followed him through the time when I became a sports broadcaster. And I feel touched by what he's done for this country. And all of us have to give this man one big round of applause. We are proud that he was a Ghanaian. Thank you.
Thanks to all our goodwill message givers, Kwabena Jupong, Alex Sagwefia, Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete. Thank you so much. And before our special guest of honor delivers his remarks, let us welcome and acknowledge the strong man who was in the 63-65 AFCON, and of course a winner, Kofi Parry. How many Ghanaians can say they won 2 AFCONs? So he's in very rarefied company. Another one is here. Yes, not very many. Not many. Yes, indeed. Oh, there's another one here. Yes, indeed, Mr. Alassane. Oh, wow. So George Alassane, good to see you. Awesome. And 82. Oh, awesome. We also have, he's now Ni Kokoboy McLean, the Odoko Manche, but he was known as Akwe McLean. 82 AFCON player. There he is. And suddenly my high table lit up. Thank you so much. Which of them are white? They look so much alike. They are Ahoy brothers. One of them is here, Mr. Kwesi Ahoy. Let's welcome him. There he is. Thank you very much. And at this point, we want to have our guest of honor who is representing the President of the Republic. He is the Deputy Minister of Youth and Sports, MP for Asunafo North in the Ahafo region, Mr. Evans Poku Bobie. Let's welcome him.
Thank you so much. And good evening to everyone. Mr. Chairman, our traditional authorities here in Gadded, current and former football stars, children of the icon C.K. Gyamfi here in Gadded, Mr. Fred Labi, the publisher, Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete, and Akwasi Jan Apantin, the reviewer, Mr. Fifi Anaman, writing contributor, representatives from the Ghana Football Association, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, will have wished to be here on this great occasion to launch the book himself, but has been engaged by another important national assignment, and so has asked me to represent him. I must say that I am particularly excited to be part of this great occasion, which I believe every individual must have to tell the great stories about one's past. Mr. Chairman, the autobiography about an illustrious son of Ghana, which is being launched today, has 435 pages consisting of 30 chapters, can be considered as the history of Ghana's football. I have been informed that the book was largely written by Mr. Gyamfi himself, and for this we must be forever indebted to him. He has left us a blow-by-blow account of his glorious past so that future generations could learn from his achievement and contribution to the development of Ghana's football. Mr. Chairman, Charles C.K. Gyamfi was referred to as the father of Ghana's football tradition by the independent newspaper of the United Kingdom. He began his football journey from a modest town of Okrasi in the eastern region at the age of 5. Born in December 4, 1929 to September 2, 2015, is a celebrated Ghanaian footballer and coach, most respected, most accomplished figure in African football history. No wonder he was referred to as a giant of African football by the Daily Nation of Kenya. Mr. Chairman, Mr. C.K. Gyamfi, as he was affectionately known to all, was named his country's first ever Sportsman of the Year in 1953. He featured for Ghana's two biggest clubs, Asante Kotoko and Accra Hearts of Oak, before going on to become the first African to play professionally in Germany by signing for Fortuna Düsseldorf in 1960. After captaining the Ghana national team, he became its first black coach in 1962 and went on to lead it to 3 of its 4 African Cup titles. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to urge you to try and get copies of the book. Personally, I have taken pain to read through a copy which has revealed a lot of interesting stories about Ghana's football. Dear friends, Mr. Chairman, Nananum, distinguished guests, it gives me a great pleasure to launch this book titled The Black Star. On this note, I declare that the book is duly launched.
Hold it for them again. Yeah, that's it. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Bouvier, our guest of honor. And so my first hat has been taken off, and now I put on my auctioneer's hat, and this is where my friends suddenly take a big delight in looking at their phones and reading their messages because they don't want to catch my eyes. But it's okay. It's an occupational hazard. Too funky will give me some good music in the background. Let me explain the rules of my auction. Can I hold the book, please? Yes. So I have very few rules. I have only 3 rules. The first rule is, if you're not buying, you are clapping. Okay? Which means if somebody buys, you clap. So if I bought the first copy, I want to hear that applause. So that's the first rule if you're not buying a copy. Second rule is that I'm very sensitive to hand movements above your head. My lecturers are the people who sell in the streets. And if you drive or you sit in a car, you know that those people are very sensitive to your, not even your hand movements, your eye movements. Eye movements. You are driving, you are concentrating on the road, you are looking straight ahead, but your left eye just, and then they are there by your car and say yes. Then they want to sell things to you. Those are my lecturers. So if I see you raising your hand like this, I'll assume that you want to get a copy of the book, and I'll come up to you. If you decide that you want to rearrange your hairstyle, please do it now. If there's any scratching or any, just do it now, because when I see your hand up there, I'll think that you want to buy, and then I'll come to you. The third rule is that betrayal is allowed in my auctions, which means that if you think the guy on your right can buy, you can just not like that, and I'll come. So those are my 3 rules. Okay, 3 rules. But it's fun. So if you decide that you don't want us to know who you are, but you are giving us, you're supporting this particular great book, you can come over and I will just, anonymous. Anonymous, most of the time, gives us a lot of money in auctions. Okay, we have just 20 minutes to raise a good sum of money to honor the memory of this great man. When I told my children that he was responsible for 75% of our AFCONs, Ghana 4 times, he won 3 of them as coach. Fantastic. And the book is full of insights. It's a book that every coach should read. Every footballer, past and present, should read. Every sports journalist should read. This is it. And it's the social history of Ghana, as Nana Jan Apenting said. So with that, with my rules, I want to start. The 4th rule is one my mother taught. My mother says, if you're asking for money, ask for a lot of money. Because all they can say is, no, it's too much. Then we negotiate. All right? Yeah, so I'm going to ask for a lot of money. I'm going to ask for 50,000 Ghana cedis as the first person to take the book for 50,000. Yeah, he was a great coach, a great man, great father, a great hero. And you can come together. 5 of you can decide to contribute 50,000. How you read the book is your own issue. Maybe 1 week. Yeah, and just like the Black Stars, I don't know whether in the 60s the Black Stars were like the Black Stars of now, but these days the Black Stars, when they go to a competition, we don't win the music. We want Too Funky. Please come down softly for us. Give it us soft carpet. Give us carpet sound. Put your hands together for Too Funky. Yes. So these days the Black Stars, they go into competition. The first game they may not even win. Second game draw, and then the third game we start doing calculations and realize that actually we have to win to qualify. So I will not be surprised if you take about 5 minutes for us to make the first offer. We are Ghanaians. We take our time, So that's why I want the music to be playing softly like that. And think about it. The first offer is for 50,000 CDs, supporting a great man, wonderful book. I'm just wondering, where is CK in this photo? Who can identify him? The children, you're not allowed. Anybody who played with him or was his mentee, you're not allowed. Where do you think he is? Do the children know? Do you know where your dad is? He's not. Trick question. All right, so can we have a first offer of 50,000 Ghana cedis? I told you, if you raise your hands, I'll come to you. Yeah, okay. Let me come down and walk around. All right. Okay. Even before we started, we have a first offer. Okay. Okay, so somebody by the name of Mr. Kwabena Osei Bonsu has given us 20,000 CDs to kick off. If you're not buying, you're clapping. We have our first 20,000 CDs. Thank you very much. Please bring the book. Oh, he's sitting next. Okay, all right. So he gets not just one book, but 5 books. So let's give him 5 books. Yes, 5 books. So we have a first one for 20,000 CDs. Any more 20s in the house? 20s in the house? 20, just raise your hands. The organization. We have a hand up. So, okay. Hello, sir. Mr. Kweko, for 20,000 CDs. If you're not buying, you're clapping. If you're not buying, you're clapping. We made 40,000. Awesome. So that's not bad. 2 people, 20,000, 20,000, 40,000. It's good. I like this audience. They're very quiet, but they're giving. Yes, Mr. Osebo Susu. The first one goes here. The first one goes here. The first person who bought. Yes. Give him his 5 books. Any more 20s in the house? As you can see, I'm a very, very flexible man. I asked for 50 and they gave me 20. I took the 20. I took the 20. We're making money. Any 20s in the house? Any more 20s? For your organization, on behalf of whoever you represent, make some calls, send some WhatsApps. Hey, we're supporting C.K. Gyamfi. Listen, first ever sports person of the year. Fantastic. 3 times coach. We should get to at least 100 minimum. I mean, if this was an exam, 40% is an E. C.K. Gyamfi is not an E. He has a C in his name. He didn't get to A. So we're looking for 20,000. Any more 20,000s in the house? Any more 20,000 in the house? 20,000s? Any 10,000s in the house? Any 10,000s in the house? You can do it for your family, do it for your school friends, do it for your football club, do it for your any 10,000s in the house. 10,000 offers will give you multiple books. You keep one and you share the rest with your friends. If the high table is doing action behind me, let me know. Okay, I can't see right now, but if they're doing action, let me know. Hey, madam, don't raise your hand. Oh, I told you. Any 20s in the house? Any 10s in the house? 10,000. We're going to get to 100,000. That's my target. Otherwise, I don't go home. If you want me to go home, help me, please. Any 10s in the house? Supporting C.K. Gyamfi. 10s. Any 5s? 5,000 in the house? Just raise your hands. Give you a couple of books. We support the family. We support. Okay, hand up. We got 2 5,000s, highly anonymous, but we can clap for anonymous donors as well. So we are now at 50,000 CDs. 40, 45, 5. Any more 5,000s in the house? Let's get to 100. Let's get to 100, guys. And ladies and gentlemen, you're great. Any more 5,000s in the house? We have a hand up. Please prepare the books for me. Digi books, ladies. I'm going to the corner. Bring the books over. There was a hand up. Yes, indeed. Okay. The music is working. Can we have some books over here? Another 5,000. I think 5,000 is also called anonymous. Anonymous, but we have got 5,000. If you're not giving, you are clapping. In the corner. He will identify himself for you. So we had 55,000. Any more 5,000s in the house? 5,000s in the house. 10,000. You can overrule me. I'm at 5. You can go back to 10. I don't mind. Inflation is where everything is going up. So why not? We can do some inflation here as well. Any 5s in the house? Any 5s? We're at 55. Let's get to 100. So, A-star, A1 coach. We need to get to 100. We're at 55 right now. 55. The music is working, right? Let it flow. Let it flow. Any 5s in the house? Any 3s? Any 5s? Any 10s? 3,000, 5,000, 10,000. Just raise. I'll come over. We're supporting. It's a book launch. We're supporting the estate of C.K. Gyamfi, Ghana's greatest coach. Did a lot for us, and we're honoring his name. We have a hand up. Okay, let me see whether we can make some more. Okay, thank you very much. Anonymous 5,000. We're at 60,000 now. Clap. Please clap for us. 6,000. Another anonymous in the corner. So we're at 65. If you're not giving, you're clapping. If you're not giving, you're clapping. Yes. We're only 35,000 away from our target. It's not bad. It's not bad. One person can finish it for us and we're done. I've used 10 minutes of my time. We're at 65,000. This is a great audience. Any more fives in the house? Another 5,000 anonymous. We're at 70,000, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not giving, you're clapping. You're doing well. You're supporting them. Let's have some energy in the room. We're at 70,000. It's good. Only 30,000 left and we're done. We'll raise 100,000. We've raised 70,000 so far. Let's get to hundreds. Those of you who are teachers, 70% is what? Is that a B? 70. Is 70 a B? The teachers, where are you? Is 70 an A or a B? It's a B, right? We don't want no B business. We want an A star. A star is 90 above. All right? So we're at 70,000 so far. 70,000. Any more fives in the house? Any tens in the house? Okay. Any fives? 70,000. 3,000. Any 3,000s in the house? We'll give you a copy of the book and you can go share it and read it. Any 3,000s in the house? 3,000s? Any 3,000s? Any 3,000s? Any 2,000s in the house? 2,000s? Just raise your hand. I'll come over to you. I don't have to mention your name. You can be anonymous and then we can pick it up. I hear some signs. Okay. Ministry of Youth and Sports, 2,000. If you're not buying, you're clapping. 2,000. The match is there. All right, we're at 72,000. Thank you so much. 72,000. Any more in this house? 72,000. We are only 28,000 away from our target. Any more 2,000s in the house? Any more 2,000s? There's a 2,000 in the house. Okay. So 72. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Digibooks, ladies. Another 2,000 here. So that's it. That's 2,000. We are 74,000. I said if you're not giving, you're clapping. If you're not giving, you're clapping. 74,000. Any more 2,000s? Any thousands in the house? Thousands. Any thousands in the house? Raise your hand if you have 1,000. Thousands in the house. All right, thank you. Yeah, I'm coming. Reverend Lawrence Tete, one book, 1,000. If he's not buying, you're clapping. We're at 75,000. Thank you so much. Any more thousands in the house? We just, yes, please have that. Thank you. All right, 75. We're at 25 away. 25 away. Let's. Any more in the house? Okay, so it's 1,000 here. Okay, Digibooks right behind. Can we have more books here? There's 1,000 here. We're at 76,000. Thank you. Any more thousands in the house? Another one. 77,000. Another one right here. Mr. Baffo, good to see you. One more book here, quick. 78,000 now. We're at 78. Yes, 1,000. Any more? Thousands in the house. We're at 78. We're closing down on 80,000. It's not bad. It's great. 78,000. Any more thousands in the house? Any more thousands? Just raise your hand. I'll come up to you, and then we can sort it out. Let me consult my boss. Any 500s in the house? 500s. Any 500s? Just raise your hand. We got some 500. Can you follow me, please? Come with plenty of books. Plenty of books. Some 500s are flowing. It's raining. It's raining 500s. 500s right here. Okay, there he is. So 500 over there. 78,500. They are buying you, so you're supposed to be clapping. Thank you. Another 500. Please bring the books. Plenty. 79,000. It's right here. There you go. We are now at 79. Let's get to 80. Any more 500s in the house? We're supporting. We're supporting. This is the Kwakwe last stop before it goes. 79,000. Anyone 500s in the house? Let's end at 80. 80 is not a bad number. It's still an A. I hear A starts from 80, so we can end at 80. 79,000. Anyone 500s in the house? Supporting the family of C.K. Gyamfi, making sure this book goes as far and as wide as possible. 79,000. Any 500s in the house? 500s. Any 500s? 500s. Any more, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. All right. Thank you. Let me just go. I have 2 minutes more to go. This one, there's a passionate appeal from my heart. We can't end at 79. I don't like that number. Let's end at 80. So I'm looking for somebody to just give us 1,000 CDs, and that'll be it this evening. Yes. Thank you so much. Hello. Have a book, please. Can we have a book? Quick. Thank you so much. There it is. 79,500. You're helping me. Last one. I need a 500 to get to 80,000. Should I come? Yes, we have our 80,000. Please, can I have a book? Can we have a book, please? Right in the corner there. Yeah? 1,000. I wanted 500. They gave me 1,000. Great stuff. 80,500. Great stuff. That's the Ntuswa. Thank you. All right. 80,500 CDs raised for the Black Star, the Autobiography of C.K. Gyamfi with Fifi Anaman. All right, so the Kwakwe last stop was demolished, and we have a new last stop now. The last stop is 200 CDs. Any 200s in the house? This is from here. I'm not going anywhere else. 200 CDs. We're 8,500. Any 200s in the house? We're here. We're supporting a worthy cause. Just raise your hand. We'll give you a book, and it's going for 200. Any 200s in the house? I think I'll leave it here, because if you want the books at 200, the ladies will see you and they will make sure that you get the books. So thank you so much, all of you. Give yourselves a big round of applause. You've done well. We've raised 80,500 Ghana cedis at this book launch. And at this point, I would like to bring on Mr. Fred Labi, Chief Executive Officer of Digibooks Ghana Limited, for the publisher's remarks. Thank you very much. Too funky. The music was good. It helped. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Nabi Kuhinu for Kapim, Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's a great privilege to be able to present Digibooks as the publishers of this magnificent book, The Black Star Autobiography of C.K. Gyamfi with Fifi Anaman. I'd like to thank the Gyamfi brothers and co-author Fifi Anaman for giving Digibooks the opportunity to publish this well-researched, interesting book. It's been a great pleasure working with you through the conception, birth, and now the adoring of this great book. We have much enjoyed your dedication to excellence and attention to detail through the whole period we work together. We hope that our partnership shall continue well into the future. I would also like to thank my wife and the team from Digibooks for all the hard work and dedication to ensuring that this publication is such a great success. I have only one key message tonight. To quote from Achina Achebe, until the lion tells his side of the story, the tale of the hunter will always glorify the hunter. The world is ignorant of Africa, and it is our responsibility to enlighten them by contributing our perspective not only in areas of dominant academic discourse, but also depicting our attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors. May I take this opportunity to encourage our diplomats, politicians, chiefs, pastors, reverends, entrepreneurs, and all people of all walks of life to write their contribution to the nation building. To quote from Albert Einstein, the value of a man should be seen in what he leaves the world and what he receives. C.K. Gyamfi has given so much to the world of football, and we are very grateful for his contribution. Ghana's history can be told through the life stories of the men and women who are in the forefront of its development. Digibooks has a team of researchers who can work with you at your own pace to capture your experiences in the various forms on tape recordings at your own convenient time, transcribe the recordings, write for you to edit and approve. DigiBoost will then support you through the life cycle of book development, editing, book design, launch and distribution, locally and internationally. We have the unique capability to develop a prototype of your actual publication and work with you, the author, through the life cycle of the book. DigiBooks would like to be your publisher of choice, and we are dedicated to continue driving significant contribution to Africa's literary wealth. If you have a book to publish or thinking about a book, please contact us. Our details are at the back of the program. Thank you very much for taking your time to come to support the launching of this book. Please make sure that you get a copy for yourself or for your friend. Thank you very much.
We thank you, the publisher, Mr. Fred Labi. And now for our chairman's closing remarks, Chairman Captain Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, retired.
New make an army, Nananom, all protocol observed. I think we've had a very important and interesting ceremony this evening. Nana Jan Apenton showed us clearly the importance of journalism in sports. I remember when I was a kid, about the age of 6, we used to take a look at our daddy's graphic. By then, graphic was the most popular paper. And all the sporting events then were reported by these great giants. And I think one name that I should not forget is the name of Kofi Bedu. Kofi Bedu, when I was a kid, was a seasoned journalist. Indeed, I was surprised about 3 years ago when I was with Asante Hine at Manchia. I saw Kofi Bedu and I was surprised. He hasn't changed at all. Now, journalism is very important in sports. Years back, we listened to British football on our rediffusion boxes. I remember clearly, where commentaries are given. But we never understood it. Now we are so lucky we have television right in front of us. So I'll say to all journalists here, well done. Now, my good old friend, junior brother Kartofo, talk about the excellence of Gyamfi. Gyamfi was exceptional. Once again, I will come back on our revolution in House of Folk. He was among those that I invited to assess the boys. He didn't know any of them. I remember the other gentlemen were Aduda Akon, a former Black Star player and a very prominent central defender, Accra House of Folk. Kaloko was there. Ofe Dodu was there, and E.C. Bryant. In fact, it took me some time to get E.C. Bryant. Initially, he was reluctant, but because of the club, he agreed. They never knew the boys. All they had were their jerseys on and their numbers at their back. And you'll be surprised, the stars we had at that time were selected by these people, including C.K. Gyamfi. Now, in the short remark of Gyamfi's children, or what they have taught us here to me today, is a need for us to write. We blacks don't like writing. In some other civilized countries, he stays in office for 6 months. If he resigns or he's even fired, he writes a book. That is the only way we are going to learn. And if we don't want to learn, at least our children will learn. We don't write books. So this particular book that has been written by C.K., assisted by Fifi Anaman, to me, is a great book indeed, and we should all do that. Footballers, as the guest speaker said, are very important. In our history, Gyamfi has taught us that you can play football and achieve any other thing that you want in life. We all saw the children. All of them have gone through school and they are well educated. That, to me, means a lot. Every footballer can achieve that. And Gyamfi did that to give us an example. Now, once again, Reverend Tete, in his presentation, talk about football and education. If you are a kid and you are playing football, that doesn't mean you should leave your books. Indeed, at the moment, my club, Accra House of Folk, has set up an academy where we are going to have kids there, not just playing ball or kicking ball, but there will be schools there for them to attend. Finally, I hope this launch will result in a radical reorientation or reordering of our priorities as a nation and its preservation of our football. Thank you very much, and God bless all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for your remarks. We will now hear from Mr. Edwin Gyamfi for the vote of thanks.
Right, firstly, before I thank you all for making your time here and making this event what's a great success, I think I need to announce that following the family's deliberations, we decided that the net proceeds of the book will be used to set up a C.K. Gyamfi Foundation with the objective of helping the development of grassroots football in Ghana. So at this point, I'd just like to thank Captain Dr. Nyao Tamaklo, retired, the chair of the occasion. I'd like to thank the Honorable Minister, and I'd like to thank Dr. Tete, Nana Jan Apenting, and I'd like to thank Nana Anum, all the chiefs that are here, and special reference to the Black Stars, old Black Star that have managed to be here, Hesed Ampton, George Alassan, John Nau, and Nada. I used to call him Nada, or we all used to call him Nada. That's Samson Lamte, and all the journalists, everyone that's been here. We appreciate your presence here, but it can't go amiss without mentioning some of the people that we worked with very closely, friends, family. I will mention David Ofori, Kwabnao Seb Bonsu, who's been with us for years and years. And also we actually went to Achimota at Disco in Fanspeim. So I do have my Achimotans here in their numbers. And we have the Fanspeim guys here too. And obviously at Disco. Yeah. I'd like to thank DigiBooks for organizing this fantastic launch, for all the ushers, the staff of DigiBooks, and also for the band. I think it's the KJ band. I think we've been doing some fantastic, playing some smooth jazz, which is my favorite anyway. I've just left Carl Tufo to the end, yeah, because Carl is, we go back a long way. So Carl being the main speaker, he just kind of hit it, hit the ball past the ballpark, as the Americans will say. So thanks a lot, Carl, for your excellent delivery. I'd like to thank the speakers as well, Alex Sigbifia and Kwabna Achipon Kala, all that. So thanks everyone for being here. We do have refreshments after this, so I will pass it on to Kafui to wrap it all up then. All right.
Many thanks, Edwin. And the refreshments are outside and towards the right. All right, on the right wing. All right. And now for the closing prayer, I want to bring onto the stage Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete.
Thank you. Uncle C.K. Gyamfi likes it when you sing. He likes it when I sing and dance. He said I should not change that one. So I'm not changing that one for him. And especially when I sing a worldly song in church, he likes it so much. One of the songs I sing that he likes when I'm preaching is, we are going, heavens knows where we are going. We know we will get there. Heavens knows how we will get there. We know we will. Second verse makes a lot of sense to me. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. Will you please be on your feet as we pray? My faith has found a resting place, not in device nor creed, not in device nor creed. I trust the ever-living one. I trust the ever-living one. His wounds for me shall bleed. His wounds for me shall bleed. I need no other argument. I need no other argument. I need no other plea. And I need no other plea. It is enough. It is enough. Jesus. has found a resting place, not in device nor grave. I trust the ever-living one. His wounds for me shall bleed. I need no other argument, and I need no other plea. It is enough that Jesus died, and that he died for me. And of course, I will sing it just like it. My feet has found a resting place, not in device nor grave, not in device. I trust the ever-living one. I trust the ever-living one. His wounds for me shall bleed. His wounds for me. I need no other argument. I need no other plea. It is enough. It is enough. Jesus, Father, you have been the source of inspiration of the entire C.K. Gyamfi family. And we know without a shadow of doubt that even in his absence, you will be the hope for the family. I pray that just as you have been able to help them document this, many more things will be done. Let his legacy and his footprints never be wiped out. Bless the family, bless his home, bless every man, every woman here today, and all of us who are connected, those who are of us who have been proud to call him our Father. Let your blessing be upon us. I pray in the name of Jesus, God, and thank you for my father S.K. Tete, who was C.K. Gyamfi's friend. And I say, God, may all of them, their soul rest in peace, and let this book be blessed. Let it go to the utmost part of the world, so it can bless men and women. I need no other argument. In the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit, may the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord keep you. May the good Lord give you good health. May the good Lord give you long life and prosperity. May you never lack. And that he died for me. Amen, and God bless you.
God bless you too, Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete. We've come to the end of our event. We've got refreshments outside to the right. The books are on sale for 200 CDs to your left. My name is Kafui Day. Have a good night. Thank you for coming to the launch of the Black Star Autobiography of C.K. Gyamfi with Fifi Anaman, published by DigiBooks Ghana Limited. Many thanks. Good night. God bless.